I had no respect for cheap horror legends. I did documentary investigations for the channel. In these investigations, each topic was verified by facts, not voices in the dark or notes with curses. Subscribers appreciated my rational approach. I debunked all kinds of myths. The window slammed shut by itself, the wall of ghosts, the killer house, and many others. Once, I received a letter in which I read the following: I want you to investigate a house that cannot be sold. Those who bought it in the past couldn't stand living in it for more than 3 days. Don't miss this interesting topic. Your audience will be grateful if you can uncover the secret of this house. And pleases, don't go into the room upstairs. No caption, just a photo of an old 2-story wooden house on the outskirts of California. It was unremarkable. Peeling paint, broken steps on the porch, rusty metal fence. A typical ruin, one of thousands. I decided it was a great opportunity to show people how a legend is created out of nothing. The house belonged to a real estate agency. They didn't mind me filming my investigation. They thought that the very fact that someone was investigating the house might generate interest. The agent was acting weird, like he wanted to say something but kept stopping himself and not finishing his sentences. He gave me the keys wrapped in a rag, barely touching the metal. "Don't lock yourself at night," he muttered, looking away. I laughed. I imagined how viewers would laugh at this warning. I went inside with my camera. The house smelled of mold and damp wood, as if rain were pouring right through the walls. The wooden floor creaked with every step. I turned on the microphone and began telling my subscribers about a typical old house that, of course, no one was afraid of. Plates had been left in the kitchen, and they were clean. There wasn't even any dust on them, as if the owner were about to return. In the living room, an old rag doll with no face sat on a chair. Nighttime stories with her would seem silly. I wanted to joke, but the words stuck in my throat. The doll smelled of damp leather. Half an hour later, I discovered something strange that didn't fit into any mundane explanation. Everything in the house seemed to indicate that someone lived there permanently. However, no one had been in the house for 3 months. The table was set. There was a toothbrush in the bathroom. The bedroom had fresh sheets. There was a dent in the bed, as if someone had just gotten up. And I remembered the warning from the letter: do not go into the room upstairs. At first, I took it as a provocation. When people want you to see something, they write, "Go there." However, here, someone didn't want me to go there. It annoyed me. I went upstairs. The door on the upper floor was locked with a small sliding bolt. It looked ridiculous, like something you'd find on a toilet in a cheap cafe. I opened it. Behind the door was an empty, dusty room. No furniture, no carpet, no traces of anything. Just a window, and on the windowsill a pair of women's shoes stood neatly. They were almost new. Someone had recently polished them. The laces were neatly tied. However, there was not a single item around that indicated the presence of a girl. In the corner stood a small glass jar. It contained water, clear, clean water. Floating in it was a strand of hair. I wanted to take it all down and leave, but a persistent feeling told me there was something else in the room, something invisible to the eye. I turned on the thermal imager, which I always took with me on trips, a red, warm imprint of a human body. The camera captured a silhouette sitting right on the floor in the center of the room. I heard a quiet rustling behind me. I turned around, and the door slammed shut. The lock slid into place by itself. I didn't scream. I'm not a superstitious idiot. I spoke into the camera, explaining to myself that it was just a camera malfunction, that there was nothing paranormal here. However, the recording showed an increasingly clear outline of a person. It was a girl. Narrow shoulders, long arms, a disproportionately elongated neck, long hair. She seemed to be slowly raising her head. I kicked the door, broke the lock, and ran down to the exit. I left the house without turning off the camera. The agent was standing by the car. He understood everything from the look at my face. "Did you see it?" he asked quietly. I nodded. He silently took the keys, still holding them through a cloth, and only when I got into the car did he say, "Everyone thinks it's the girl's ghost. However, ghosts don't leave traces." I turned back to the house. In the window of that very room stood a dark, elongated shadow. I couldn't make it out, but it was looking straight at me. "That's the one who lives in the house. However, the house is looking for another tenant," the agent added quietly. That same night, I posted the video. No effects, no voiceovers, no conclusions, just the recording. The video garnered 2.8 million views overnight. Everyone who watched it wrote the same thing. "Who is standing behind you in the room?" The next evening, I received another letter. No signature, just one sentence. "The place is vacant. The house has chosen you."